My name is Miriam Galindo. I am completing a DNP PMHNP degree at the University of Massachusetts Global. This PowerPoint presentation is on my future. In this PowerPoint, the viewer will develop an understanding of the following. Number 1, upcoming steps of my DNP journey over the next 5 years. 2, a description of the PMHNP job itself, including the facility, time commitment, support staff, and supervising staff. And 3, a description of the private practice. A little disclaimer. I have learned in over the half a century of living that I may have ideas, and they may even be good ideas, but my vision always ends up being a fraction of what actually happens. This is because I believe I am constantly discovering what God has set before me. He calls the shots, and I turn to the right or turn to the left according to his direction. When I live this way, my life has gone from a pretty decent life to an over-the-top, mind-blowing adventure that's even crazier than I could ever think or imagine. For this reason, the 5-year plan proposal that I'm about to describe is subject to a lot of revisions as I discover each day what God has in store for me. This is also why my mission statement is as follows. My ultimate goal is to bring the light of Jesus Christ into dark places, whether psychological, physical, or spiritual, for the restoration of hope and healing. This is the reason I have the background I do, because I believe that human beings are not just a mind, not just a body, not just a spirit, but an integrated whole. I believe that the role of the nurse practitioner may prove to be a forerunner toward a more holistic and integrated understanding of health. My mission statement is over 50 years old. Here's a quick backstory. In 1976, when I was about 8 years old, I saw Mother Teresa speak at the Catholic Daughters of America conference at the Superdome in New Orleans, where we were living at the time. I don't remember anything she said except for these 2 sentences. You don't have to go to Calcutta to serve God. You have enough trouble in your own backyard. This charge was so intensely personal to me that it served to define my school and career choices for the rest of my life. Throughout that time, I have elected to serve my community, yes, my own backyard, as a social worker, psychologist, and now as a nurse. From the beginning, my practice goal has always been the provision of integrated health. Here is a rough calendar of events for the next 5 years. I say rough because when I attempted to add more big data, the calendar would not fit on this slide. So I will break it down in the next few slides. What the calendar attempts to convey is a continued philosophy of lifelong learning. For example, in January 2024, I will begin the Adult Gerontology Primary Care Nurse Practitioner Postgraduate Certificate Program. University of Massachusetts Global does not offer this program, so I have applied elsewhere. During this time, I also intend to focus my specialization to palliative care for chronic health problems for the poor, the elderly, and the homeless, specifically wound care, nutritional prescriptions for mental and physical health, diabetic foot care, integrated treatment for type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. I would also like to offer medication management for those with mental illness. And although I don't see myself specializing in substance abuse, I plan to continue pursuing education in this area, since many of the homeless we serve are using substances while also battling physical illness and chronic mental illness, a trimorbidity of sorts. My calendar also notes that by January 2026, I would like to be fluent in Spanish. I have attempted to study Spanish while attending UMass, but have had a very little time to do so. I can read and understand Spanish at this point thanks to 3 years in high school. However, I would like to become more confident and proficient at speaking. Speaking Spanish is an absolute necessity when serving others in my own backyard. Meanwhile, I plan to continue working in private practice as a licensed clinical psychologist. However, instead of working 40 plus hours a week, I plan to work 32 hours. I will continue forensic work as I have in the past. My continuing education will focus on psycholegal updates, and because I'm a registered child play therapist, I will also need to maintain credentialing in that area as well. I plan to continue volunteering as a dementia caregiver educator at Alzheimer's Orange County. I've been there 8 years, and over the years, the program director has graciously given me a wide latitude to create my own presentations. As a result, I am challenged to continue learning and growing in the understanding of behavioral and pharmacological management of neurocognitive impairments. Additionally, I will continue to team up with my husband through the Orange County Sheriff's Department to adopt multiple underprivileged families in my own backyard at Christmas time. You will see in my calendar that events are actually very practical in nature, such as renewing licenses, renewing liability insurance, our business license, etc. In fact, in 2027, we will need to renew our lease for our office space. However, beyond these logistics, specific events in my calendar are as follows. In early 2024, an article I wrote a few weeks ago will be published in the Orange County Bar Association magazine. Essentially, it provides a rubric for understanding the many hats we wear as therapists to assist in tough cases. Among the highlights in 2024 will be my visit to the nephrologist. I call this a highlight because it marks 2 years since God saved my younger brother's life using my kidney. The kidney donation occurred during the second week of our statistics class here at University of Massachusetts on May 10th, 2022. The best day of my life. Also in 2024, I will begin coursework for the Adult Gerontology Primary Care Nurse Practitioner Program. I will also begin acquiring transition for practice hours for the PMHNP program, pursuant to the new law in California permitting nurse practitioners the ability to practice independently after completing 4,600 hours. I plan to volunteer 24 hours a week at the free clinic to acquire these hours. Although it might take me the rest of my life to get there, I'm up for the challenge. I will resume volunteering with the street medicine group for the homeless 1 night a week, and I will continue working in private practice as a psychologist 3 days a week. 2025 will be a year of continued growth. However, as I mentioned before, God never lets me coast in maintenance mode. So in addition to continuing the transition to practice hours, street medicine, volunteering at Alzheimer's Orange County, working in private practice, and studying Spanish, I can assure you God will tell me what to do next, and of course I'll say yes. In 2026, I pray that I will achieve fluency in Spanish. Why is that so important to me? Well, because the majority of people I serve are Spanish-speaking, uninsured, undocumented, and very vulnerable. I am determined to get into their world instead of expecting them to get into mine. Additionally, I may return to singing in a church choir since I will no longer be in school. We'll see. My work and volunteer schedule, however, will remain the same. By now, you're probably recognizing that I have no intention of ever leaving the free clinic, and you would be right. So in 2027, my schedule will look pretty much the same. And you're correct. In 2028, I'll still be at the clinic. Incidentally, this clinic was dubbed by its founder, Sister Marie Therese, as God's clinic. I have had it on my heart to work there since I was taking nursing prerequisites as a young college student. I used to tell myself someday when I become a nurse, I will volunteer there. In 2029, I will complete a transition to practice hours as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. In California, nurse practitioners can practice independently after completing 4,600 hours. This is the equivalent to 3 years of full-time employment, and since I'll be volunteering only part-time, it's going to take me twice as long to reach the finish line. Once I earn the right to practice independently, I will have no intention of leaving the clinic. By 2029, I hope to practice independently while speaking Spanish fluently, but I will do so at the free clinic in my own backyard. In terms of the environment, the facility was built in the 1960s. Therefore, it's quirky, it's funky. There are the walls are painted blue and lined with crookedly hung gold frame prints of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Jesus, and even a signed certificate from the former Pope John Paul. There's plaster statues of the Virgin Mary all over the place. The one behind the front desk is hand-painted bright pink and blue, and there's a plastic rosary hanging around her neck. There's no electronic charts, only paper charts. It's grassroots, and that's the way I like it. As far as safety, well, it's Santa Ana, the city in which I've lived for 45 years. Yes, there's a lot of crime, but what can I tell you except that it's as safe as Santa Ana can be. Because street medicine operates at night from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., and because we go out to encampments, safety is achieved by traveling in numbers. I have personally experienced drivers who aren't paying attention to people walking near freeway entrance ramps, me being one of them, but we take the precautions we can. We also take precautions to protect ourselves against bloodborne diseases and droplet diseases. By contrast, my private practice is pretty cushy, safe, clean, and well appointed. As far as safety, well, this is a controversial area. Family law cases can be highly litigious and dangerous, and that has led many therapists to reject them for safety reasons. In fact, Orange County Register just recently featured a story about a man who threatened to kill the judge and all counsel in Orange County Superior Court on Friday, October 13th, 2023, just 2 days ago. Unfortunately, these stories are not unusual in our circles. Because my position at the free medical clinic would be voluntary, I have the ability to set my own hours. I'm expected to provide my own insurance. Supervising physicians are available. However, the psychiatrist only comes in 6 hours a month. At my private practice where I work as a psychologist, I have the ability to set my own hours. I provide my own liability insurance, which covers the corporation as well as my husband and I as individuals. We also have a cyber insurance and general liability insurance to cover the property. I set up our business as an S-Corp in 2004 and filed a fictitious business name with the County of Orange. Our business license is with the City of Costa Mesa. Because we own the corporation, we file corporate and personal tax returns. We do not have staff by choice. This means I do the administrative work like billing and phone calls as well as therapy. I have done so for the past 20 years, and I don't mind it a bit. I also clean the office myself, although we had a cleaning crew for about 15 years, but I prefer to clean myself. We do not take insurance. Because we're in private practice, we don't have vacation pay, sick pay, or maternity leave for ourselves. As a result, I have made sure to start long ago single Ks, the equivalent to 401Ks, as well as a diversified retirement portfolio. The word retire is ironic because I never intend to retire. And in addition to that, we have long-term care insurance. This is the end of the presentation, but certainly not the end of my journey as a nurse practitioner in integrative health. I look forward to whatever happens next.